Everybody see the money, but nobody see who it belonged to. Halfway tree don't sleep, it change.
Everybody sees the money in Halfway Tree, but nobody sees who it really belongs to. By the time the last bus groans to a stop and the final rush of office workers disappears into the night, Halfway Tree doesn't sleep, it transforms. The bright noise of the day fades, but something deeper wakes up. The air gets heavier, the laughter gets quieter, and the movements become more careful. If you ever stand still long enough at that hour, really stand still, you'll notice it. The shift, the way conversations lower, the way certain men don't speak much, but somehow everything moves around them. The way deals happen without money ever touching a hand. And if you listen closely, you might hear someone say it. Every man out here owes somebody. Not loud, never loud. Because some things in Halfway Tree are not meant to be said, only understood. The street lights flicker like the tired are watching. A taxi idles at the corner, engine humming low, driver leaning back with one eye open. Vendors pack up slow, not because they have to, but because timing matters. Everything here has a rhythm, and if you move out of sync, the streets will remind you. Because what most people don't understand is this: Halfway Tree has two economies. One you can see, and one you can't. During the day, it's simple. People buy, people sell, money changes hands. It looks like business, honest hustle, survival. But when night falls, money becomes secondary. Because what really moves things is what people owe. And that's where this story truly begins. There was a boy who used to stand near the same corner every evening, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Life didn't give him many choices. His shoes were worn thin, his pockets always light, and his stomach never fully satisfied. He learned early that in Kingston, especially in Halfway Tree, you don't survive by waiting, you survive by watching. So he watched. At first, it was just curiosity. People passing, money exchanging, vendors shouting prices, taximen arguing routes, nothing unusual. But then he started noticing patterns. The same men always doing well. The same vendors always getting prime spots. The same drivers always getting passengers first. And then the others, the ones who work just as hard, maybe even harder, but never seemed to move forward. They stayed stuck. Same spot, same struggle, same tired look in their eyes. And that didn't make sense to him, because if this was just about hard work, everybody should have a chance. But they didn't. And that's when he started paying closer attention, not to the noise, but to the silence. Because the real business in Halfway Tree doesn't happen where people are looking. It happens in between, in the pauses, in the moments nobody thinks matter. Like the first time he saw it. Two men standing under a dim streetlight. No shouting, no bargaining, no visible exchange. Just a quiet conversation, then a handshake. Simple, too simple, but something about it felt heavy. The kind of handshake that lasts just a second too long. The kind where both men look directly into each other's eyes like they are agreeing to something deeper than words. Then they separated. No money passed, no goods exchanged. But the next day, everything changed. The man who took that handshake suddenly had access. Customers came to him without effort. Space opened up for him where there was none before. Problems disappeared. It was like the streets themselves made room for him. And the boy noticed, because he was always watching. But what stayed with him wasn't the success. It was the obedience that followed. Because the same man who rose began responding to looks, to signals, to quiet requests that didn't sound like requests. And every time he answered. Immediately, no hesitation, like refusal was never an option. That was the moment the boy stopped just watching and started thinking. What kind of deal doesn't involve money but still must be paid? That question followed him everywhere until one night he heard something that changed everything. An old vendor who had been on that same strip longer than anyone could remember spoke quietly while cleaning his stall. You see the streets? Not knowed here free. Every man will rise, pay feet. The boy looked at him confused. Pay who? The old man paused, then looked straight at him. Not always money. And just like that, he said no more. But the message stayed, because from that night, the boy couldn't unsee it. He started noticing the whispers, the way conversations stopped when certain names came close, the way people avoided eye contact when certain topics came up, the way some men never asked twice because they already knew the answer. There were stories, not told openly, but passed quietly, about midnight deals, about silent agreements, about handshakes that bind more than words ever could. Nobody confirmed them, but nobody denied them either, because in Halfway Tree, truth doesn't need to be announced. It shows itself. And slowly, piece by piece, the story came together. Years ago, before the boy ever stood on that corner, there was a man. And that man was desperate. Not struggling, not uncomfortable. Desperate. The kind of desperation that makes you stop thinking about tomorrow and start fighting for right now. Food was low, options were gone, pressure was building from every direction. And pressure changes people. It makes them consider things they would normally reject. It makes them listen to offers they would usually ignore. And that's exactly what happened. One night, long after the crowds disappeared and the streets settled into that quiet tension, he was approached, not loudly, not aggressively, just present. A man stood beside him, calm, certain, like he already knew the outcome of the conversation before it even started. They spoke briefly, no witnesses, no interruptions, and then came the offer. Not written, not explained fully, just understood. Help, opportunity, access, everything the desperate man needed, all in exchange for one thing, a handshake. That's all. No contract, no terms spoken clearly, just a moment, a decision, a grip of the hand. And in that moment, something passed between them. Not money, not goods, something deeper, something binding, something that didn't end when their hands separated. Because from that night, the man's life changed. Fast, too fast. Doors opened that were always closed. People who never noticed him started calling his name. Money came easier. Opportunities appeared without effort. It felt like success, but it didn't feel right. Because every gain came with a feeling he couldn't explain, like something was watching, waiting, keeping track. And then it happened. The first call. Not a phone call, a message. Simple, clear, unavoidable. It was time to return the favor. And just like that, the truth revealed itself. Because what he thought was help was actually debt. And what he thought was opportunity was obligation. And what he thought was freedom was control. He couldn't say no, not because he didn't want to, but because he understood saying no was never part of the deal. And from that moment, the handshake was no longer a moment. It became a system. Because that man wasn't the only one. Others followed. Others shook hands. Others rose. And just like him, others paid. Quietly, consistently, without question. And over time, it spread. From one man to many. From one deal to a network nobody could fully see, but everybody felt. And back in the present, standing under those same streetlights, the boy finally understood. This was never about money. This was about control, about power, about invisible strings pulling visible lives. And as the night settled deeper into the city, one thought stayed with him. If every man out here owes somebody, then who really owns the streets?
Everybody see the money, but nobody see who it belonged to. Halfway tree don't sleep, it change. Yeah. When the last bus groan and fade, and the daylight start to shade, city quiet but not still, something deep awake with a will. Voices drop, movement slow, things you see but never know. Men don't talk but things get done, like the streets obey someone. If you stand still long enough, you gon' feel it in the air. Not everything you see is really there. Who really owns the streets? Who decide who wins or eats? Who behind the silent deals, moving things you never see? Who really owns the streets? Cause it's deeper than the cash. Every man out here owes something, and some debts you can't pay back. Young boy stand by the light, watching patterns every night. Same man always rise fast, same man never come last. Others grind till them break, still no progress, still no stake. Hard work wasn't the key, something else controlling things. So he stopped watching noise, start watching what's between. The silence holds more truth than what's seen. Who really owns the streets? Who give access? Who deny? Who makes space where none exists? Who decide who pass or die? Who really owns the streets? Cause it's deeper than the grind. Some man working twice as hard, still get left behind. Two men under one light, no money, no fight, just a handshake tight. Next day, everything changed, doors open, life rearranged. But every look he respond, every call he obeyed, like in freedom gone away. Oh man, say it's soft and low, nothing free out here, you know. Every man will rise upon top, be a fear, pay a fiat, whether or not. Boy, I feel truth hit him chest. This was more than just a guess. This was system, not by chance. Something bigger run the dance, not always money. Years before, a desperate man, empty pocket, broken plan, met the figure in the night. Offer came without a fight, no contract, no long speech, just a reach within his reach. All you need, just shake my hand, and that moment seal the plan. Who really owns the streets? Who control what man become? Cause what looked like opportunity might just be where chains come from. Who really owns the streets? Who collect when time is due? Cause every handshake carry weight, and that the wait coming for you. He thought it was help, it wasn't help. He thought it was chance, it wasn't chance. It was debt, it was control. It was a system, taking hold. Now the boy just stand and see everything more clearly. Every rise, every gain, every loss, every pain, all connected, all aligned. And one thought stay on his mind. If every man out here owes somebody, then who really on the streets? The streets.
You think money runs the streets of Half-Way Tree, but if money really ran things, everybody would have a fair chance. But they don't. Some rise fast, some stay stuck forever, and the difference is not what they earn, it's what they owe. Because what moves Half-Way Tree is not cash, it's something you can't see. During the day, everything looks normal. Vendors shouting prices, taxing and calling routes, hands exchanging bills, coins dropping into palms, receipts, change, quick deals. It looks like a system you can understand, but that's just the surface. Because underneath all of that, there's another system running at the same time. One that doesn't use receipts, one that doesn't use contracts, one that doesn't need proof. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The boy started noticing it everywhere. A vendor gets moved from the edge of the street to the best corner overnight. A taximan suddenly controls a route nobody else can touch. A small shop that used to struggle now never runs out of customers. Nobody announces it, nobody explains it, but everybody understands. These things don't just happen, they are given, and anything given can be taken back. That's when the boy realized something that changed how he looked at every dollar moving through the streets. Money is not the real currency. Money is just the cover story. The real currency is favors. Favors that don't expire. Favors that grow over time. Favors that can follow you anywhere. And once you accept one, you don't control it. It controls you. Because in Half-Way Tree, a handshake is not just agreement. It is a contract. Not written on paper, written on expectation and enforced by the streets themselves. There is no court, no judge, no official system, but somehow enforcement is stronger than anything legal because reputation is everything. And once your name is tied to a handshake, your name is no longer just yours. It belongs to the system. That's why people don't break deals, not because they can't, but because they understand the cost. The boy began to understand the language of it. It never sounds like pressure. It never sounds like force. It sounds like opportunity. Me can link you. Me can set you up. Me can make things easier for you. Simple words, but behind those words is a chain, because every favor carries weight, and that weight doesn't stay the same. It grows. One favor becomes two, two becomes five, and before you realize, you are not doing business anymore. You are maintaining balance. Balance between what you owe and what is expected from you. And nobody explains the rules to you. You learn them by living them. Rule number 1, nothing is free. Even kindness has a cost. Rule number 2, every favor grows. What starts small never stays small. Rule number 3, debt travels. You may owe one man today and another man collects tomorrow. Rule number 4, silence is survival. You don't talk about it. You don't question it openly. You move with it. Rule number 5, refusal has consequences. Not always loud, not always immediate, but always real.
And once you understand those rules, you start to see the streets differently. You start to see who benefits. The ones who sit back and never rush. The ones who don't chase money because money comes to them. The ones who speak less but control more. They are not lucky, they are connected. They are the gatekeepers, the ones who decide who rises and who stays exactly where they are. And then there are the others, the ones trapped inside the system, the ones who accepted help and never found a way out. The ones who wake up every day, not working for themselves, but working to maintain what they owe. And the deeper the boy looked, the more he realized how normal it all appeared. A vendor paying for a spot, a taximan getting access to a route, a shop receiving protection. All of it looks like business, but underneath it is obligation, because every opportunity comes attached. And that's when it reached him, not as a warning, not as a threat, as an opportunity. One evening, just as the sky started turning that deep orange before fading into night, someone approached him. Not a stranger, someone he had seen before, someone who clearly moved differently from the others. Calm, confident, certain. They didn't waste time. "Me see you always there, you serious." The boy stayed quiet. "You want move forward?" Simple question, but it carried weight, because he already knew nothing comes without something behind it. Still, he listened. "Me can help you. Better spot, more customers, less struggle." Everything he needed, everything he had been watching others receive, right there, within reach. But then came the part that wasn't said directly, the part that didn't need to be explained, the understanding that this would not be free. And in that moment, the streets went quiet around him, not physically, but in his mind. Because no, it wasn't about observation anymore, it was about decision. Pride telling him to earn it his own way, survival reminding him how long he had been struggling, fear warning him about what he had seen happen to others, ambition showing him what his life could become, and all of it collided in one moment, because this was the line between watching the system and becoming part of it. He thought about the long days, the empty pockets, the missed chances. He thought about the men who rose, the ones who never seemed to struggle anymore. And then he thought about the look in their eyes, the way they always responded, the way they never refused. And for a moment he hesitated, because deep down he already knew this was not just help, this was entry. Entry into something bigger than him, something that doesn't let go easily. But opportunity has a way of sounding louder than caution, and hunger has a way of silencing fear. So he asked the only question that mattered. "What me have to do?" The man smiled slightly, not wide, not friendly, just knowing. "Nothing much," he said, and that was the moment everything changed, because the less someone explains the cost, the higher it usually is. The man extended his hand, calm, steady, certain, and for a second he just looked at it, because he remembered the handshake he saw, the rise that followed, the obedience that came after. And in that moment he understood something clearly. Once you take this hand, you don't just gain something, you become part of something. And still he reached out, because survival doesn't wait. And just like that, the handshake repeated. No witnesses, no contract, no explanation, but something passed between them, something binding, something real. And the moment the hands separated, the shift began. Not loud, not dramatic, but immediate. The next day, things changed. Customers came easier, space opened up, people started noticing him, opportunities appeared, and for the first time it felt like things were working, like he finally broke through. But underneath that success, something else settled in, a quiet understanding that none of this was truly his, because what was given could be called back, and what was gained came with expectation. And just like the others, he started responding to looks, to signals, to moments that didn't feel optional, and without anyone saying it directly, he knew. His freedom didn't disappear all at once. It disappeared quietly, piece by piece, favor by favor, until one truth became impossible to ignore. He wasn't just earning anymore, he was maintaining balance, maintaining relationships, maintaining what he owed. And standing there one night, under the same flickering street lights where he once just watched, he realized something that changed everything. The system wasn't hidden, it was right in front of everyone, working, moving, controlling, and the only difference between those inside it and those outside it was one handshake. And no, he was inside.
You think money run the streets? But if money run things, everybody would win. But they don't. Daytime noise, money pass. Quick exchange, moving fast. Looks like hustle, looks like grind. Like everybody got a chance to climb. But when night falls, something shifts. Different weight, different gift. Same streets, but different rules. Same game, but different tools. Oh, 'cause what you see ain't what it be. There's another system underneath. The one handshake, that's all it take. No paper sign, but your life reshape. What you gain, you don't control, 'cause every favor come with a toll. One handshake, that's all it takes. Start off small, but the chain don't break. You think you rise, but you just step in. Now you inside what you once was watching. Boy, stand still, eyes wide open, watching things that stay unspoken. Same man always getting through, same doors open, same crew. Others try but never move, work twice hard, still can't prove. Something deeper on the street, something money can't compete. Stop, watch the noise, start, watch the space where deals get done without a trade. One handshake, that's all it takes. No loud deal, no big mistake, just a moment out of line. Your whole life shift inside. One handshake, that's all it takes. From that grip, a chain away. Every favor start to grow. Now you're more than you know. We can link you, we can set you up, we can make things easier. Old man say it plain and clear, nothing free out here. Every rise come with a fee, not always what you see. Favor small, then double back, then it turn into a stack, then it follow where you go. Now you're trapped inside the flow. Favors don't expire. Evening sun start drop low, man approach them calm and slow. Missy, you're ready now, you won't rise, me show y'all everything you ever need, right there within his reach. But the part that wasn't said louder than the words instead. One handshake, that's all it takes. From that moment, no escape. What you gain can disappear if you ever interfere. One handshake, that's all it takes. Now your choices ain't your own. shake, every move, every play got a price you gotta pay. He asks, what me have to do? The man just smiled, nothing much. That's when everything changed. Next day come, life look bright, everything start moving right. But deep inside he understand that moment, that single hand wasn't just a deal, it was a door. Now we not outside no more. It only take one handshake. One handshake. One handshake. Success feel different when it come too fast. Not loud, not sudden.
Success feels different when it comes too fast. It doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives quietly. Then suddenly everything around you starts to change. One day you're struggling for every dollar. The next day it feels like the streets finally recognize you. Customers stuck passing you by. People call your name before you even speak. Opportunities start showing up without you chasing them. And for a moment, it feels like you finally made it. Like all the watching, all the waiting finally paid off. But in Halfway Tree, when things start going too smooth, that's not when you relax. That's when you pay attention. Because success here doesn't come alone. It comes with something attached. The boy felt it early. The way people started greeting him differently. The way space opened for him without asking. The way certain men nodded at him like he was no part of something they already understood. Respect came fast, too fast. And respect in these streets is never just given, it's assigned. Because respect means recognition. And recognition means you've been seen. Not just by people, by the system. And once the system sees you, it doesn't forget you. At first it felt good. People stepping aside, people calling him boss, people asking for his time instead of ignoring him. It was everything he thought he wanted. But what nobody tells you about rising in Halfway Tree is that the higher you go, the less space you actually have. Because no, people are watching you too. And then it came. Not long. Success feels different when it comes too fast. It doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives quietly. Then suddenly everything around you starts to change. One day you're struggling for every dollar. The next day it feels like the streets finally recognize you. Customers stuck passing you by. People call your name before you even speak. Opportunities start showing up without you chasing them. And for a moment, it feels like you finally made it. Like all the watching, all the waiting finally paid off. But in Halfway Tree, when things start going too smooth, that's not when you relax. That's when you pay attention. Because success here doesn't come alone. It comes with something attached. The boy felt it early. The way people started greeting him differently. The way space opened for him without asking. The way certain men nodded at him like he was no part of something they already understood. Respect came fast, too fast. And respect in these streets is never just given, it's assigned. Because respect means recognition. And recognition means you've been seen. Not just by people, by the system. And once the system sees you, it doesn't forget you. At first it felt good. People stepping aside, people calling him boss, people asking for his time instead of ignoring him. It was everything he thought he wanted. But what nobody tells you about rising in Halfway Tree is that the higher you go, the less space you actually have. Because no, people are watching you too. And then it came. Not loud, not dramatic, just expected.
the first call. Not a phone ringing, not a message written, just a moment. A man approached him one evening, calm, direct. "Me need a little help." Simple words, but the boy already understood. This wasn't a request, this was a reminder. Because the moment you accept help in Halfway Tree, you don't just gain, you enter rotation. And rotation means your turn will come. He didn't hesitate, not because he didn't want to, but because something inside him already knew hesitation was not part of the system. So he helped, quick, clean, no questions. And for a moment it seemed small, almost nothing, but that's how it starts. Because favors are never about the size, they're about the connection. Every favor ties you deeper. Every yes removes one more piece of your independence. And the dangerous part? It never feels like control at first. It feels like cooperation, like networking, like helping each other win. Until it isn't. Because what people don't understand is that favors don't stay where they start. They move from one person to another, from one situation to the next. And before you realize, you're not dealing with one person anymore. You're dealing with many. Different faces, different voices, different expectations, all connected by something you can't see, but you can definitely feel. The web started forming around him slowly. One introduction turned into two, two turned into five, five turned into more than he could track. And each one came with history, with connections, with expectations already attached. That's when it changed. Because no, it wasn't about one debt anymore. It was about many. And the more people involved, the harder it became to keep track of what he owed and who he owed. And that's how control works. Not by force, but by complexity. Because when things get complicated enough, you stop trying to escape. You just try to manage it. His time stopped belonging to him. Calls came at any hour. Requests showed up without warning. Plans had to change instantly. Because when someone calls in a favor, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you respond. And the more he responded, the less control he had over his own life. Sleep became inconsistent, focus became difficult, peace disappeared. Because no, he wasn't just living, he was maintaining balance, maintaining relationships, maintaining the system that now included him. And with that came pressure. Not loud pressure, not aggressive pressure, the kind that sits in your chest quietly, the kind that reminds you constantly you cannot afford to feel. Because failure doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone connected to you. And in a system built on obligation, disappointment is dangerous. That's when he noticed something that shook him. He started acting the same men he once watched. Short conversations, quick decisions, no hesitation. People now came to him asking for help, and without thinking, he started saying yes. Because no, he understood the system, and without realizing it, he became part of it. Not just inside it, part of how it runs. Because no, others owed him, and collecting a debt feels different than owing one. At first he resisted it. He didn't want to pressure anyone, didn't want to become that kind of person. But the system doesn't work on feelings, it works on balance. And balance must be maintained. So he started enforcing, quietly, carefully, but firmly. And every time he did, something inside him shifted. Because no, he wasn't just surviving the system, he was helping it continue. That's when the pressure turned inward. Because it's one thing to be controlled, it's another thing to realize you are now controlling others. Sleep became harder, thoughts got louder, trust became difficult. Because no, he understood too much. Every conversation felt layered, every opportunity felt attached, every relationship felt conditional. And that's how the trap closes, not around your body, around your mind. Because once you start questioning everything, you stop feeling free, even when nothing is physically holding you. And the cost didn't stop with him. It reached into his relationships. Friends started noticing changes, less availability, more tension, different energy. Conversations became shorter, trust became thinner, because he couldn't explain what was happening. And even if he tried, some things are not meant to be spoken, especially not in a system built on silence. And then it happened, the moment that separates participation from realization. A request came in, different from the others, heavier, uncomfortable, the kind of situation that doesn't sit right, the kind that makes you pause. For the first time, he hesitated, because this wasn't just business, this crossed a line he never thought he would approach. And in that moment, everything slowed down. Because no, it wasn't about favors, it wasn't about opportunity, it was about choice, real choice, the kind that reveals who you are and who you've become. Because the system doesn't ask you who you want to be, it shows you who you are when pressure is applied. He stood there, caught between two realities, the person he used to be and the person the system was shaping him into. And for the first time, he saw it clearly. This was never just business, never just hustle, never just survival. This was control, layered, connected, invisible, but powerful. And once you're inside it, you don't just participate, you become part of what keeps it alive. And standing there, under those same streetlights, he realized something that changed everything. The system didn't trap people with chains, it trapped them with opportunity. And by the time you recognize it, you're already holding it together.
Success feel different when it come too fast. Not loud, not sudden, just smooth. One day broke counting coins, next day everything aligned. Customers call before you speak, opportunities start find you easy. Streets start treat you like you know, like you finally got your own. Like the grind doesn't pay its due, but something don't feel true. 'Cause in these streets, when things too right, that's not the time you rest at night. When it get too smooth, that's when you watch it close. 'Cause every door that open fast got something behind those doors. Oh, when it get too smooth, that's when you check your place. 'Cause success don't come alone out here, it always come attached. People greet him different now, step aside, respect him now. Call him boss, say his name like he's suddenly in the game. But respect don't fall from sky, respect mean somebody decide you've been seen, you've been marked. Now you walking in the dark, and once they see you, they don't forget. And once you rise, you in the net. When it get too smooth, whoa, that's when you start to see it ain't about what you achieve, it's what you agree to be. Oh, when it get too smooth, oh, that's when the shift begins. 'Cause what you thought was elevation was really stepping in. First call come, me need a little help. Not loud, not forced, but understood. say yes, didn't think small favor, small link. Seemed like nothing at the start, but it settled in his heart. Cause favors never stay small, they just grow, they just call from one man. Now it's spread, now it live inside his head. You not free, you maintain it. Calls at night, plans get shift. Every move feel like a drift. Time no longer feel like his. Every moment something give. Now he see what he becomes. Same as those he watched from young. Short replies, quick control. Different weight inside his soul. When it get too smooth, that's when it take your space. The higher that you think you rise, the less you got your place. When it get too smooth, yeah, that's when it take your mind. Now you're questioning everything. Trust get left behind. Then one call, different tone. Not business, not safe. Something wrong. For the first time he paused still. Feel the weight, feel it real. This not favor, this not trade. This a line that can't be played. Who he was, stay on one side. Who he now, stand inside. And the truth cut deep and clear. He didn't fall, he grew here. The system never forced his hand. It just showed him where to stand. And piece by piece, without a sound, it turned him into what he found. When it get too smooth, that's when you already in. That's when you already in. There's a door, but out here, freedom is a price.
Some people think freedom is a door, like all you have to do is decide to walk away. But in Half-Way Tree, freedom is not a door, it's a price. And the moment you start thinking about leaving is the moment the system starts watching you differently. It didn't happen all at once. It started as a thought, a quiet one, a question that kept returning at the worst times. What if I stop? What if I say no? What if I walk away from all of this? At first, he pushed it aside because everything around him still looked like success. Money was coming, respect was there, people moved when he moved. But inside, something didn't feel right anymore. Because once you understand the system, you can't pretend you don't see it. And once you see it, you start noticing the cost. Not just what you give, but what you lose. Peace, time, choice. And slowly, that thought grew louder until it wasn't just a thought anymore. It became a decision waiting to happen. But in Half-Way Tree, deciding to leave is not the same as leaving. Because the system does not ask you if you're ready. It tests you. And the first test is simple. Say no. That's all. Just once. Just one refusal. And you will understand everything. It happened on a night that felt like any other. The streets were alive, engines humming, voices moving through the air, deals happening in plain sight and out of it. Then the request came, calm, direct, expected. And for the first time, he didn't respond immediately. He paused. Not long, just enough. And in that pause, something shifted. The man in front of him didn't raise his voice, didn't threaten, didn't argue, but the energy changed. Because in this system, hesitation is a message, and the message is clear. Something is wrong. He answered carefully, not aggressive, not disrespectful, just no. And for a moment, nothing happened. No reaction, no confrontation, just silence. And sometimes silence is louder than anything, because that's how the system responds, not with noise, with adjustment. The next day, things felt different, subtle at first. Customers slowed down, conversation shortened. People who used to greet him nodded from a distance instead. Nothing obvious, nothing you could point to, but everything slightly off. And that's how it starts, not with punishment, with withdrawal. Because support in this system is never permanent, it's conditional, and conditions can change. Days passed, then it became clearer. Opportunities stopped appearing, calls became less frequent, introductions disappeared completely. It wasn't loud, it wasn't announced, but it was real. The streets had started turning cold, and cold in Half-Way Tree doesn't mean empty, it means disconnected. Because now he was no longer flowing with the system, he was resisting it, and resistance stands out. That's when he realized something deeper. There was no single person controlling this, no boss, no leader sitting at the top. Because every time he tried to trace it back, it led somewhere else. Different people, different connections, different layers, all linked but never centered. And that's what makes it powerful. Because you can't confront something if you can't find where it begins. The system isn't a person, it's a network, a living structure built on obligation, and everyone inside it keeps it alive. That's why it can't be easily broken, because breaking it doesn't just affect one person, it affects everyone connected to it. And when everyone depends on it, everyone protects it, not out of loyalty, out of necessity. That's when the truth became clear. Nobody is really in control, not fully. The powerful still owe someone, the respected still answer to something, and even the ones giving orders are responding to expectations placed on them. Everyone is part of it, everyone is carrying it, and everyone is trapped in it in their own way. That's the illusion. You think someone is in charge, but the truth is the system runs itself. And that realization changes everything. Because now the question becomes different. Not who controls it, but how do you face it? And that's when he decided to go deeper, to stop guessing, to stop watching, to confront it. He started reaching out, not randomly, carefully, to the ones who seemed closest to the center, the quiet ones, the ones who never chased anything because everything came to them. And when he finally stood in front of one of them, he didn't ask for help, he asked for the truth. What is this really? The man looked at him for a long moment, not surprised, not impressed, just aware. Then he said something that stayed with him forever. It no start with you, and it no end with you. That was it. No explanation, but everything inside that sentence. Because the handshake was never just a deal, it was a transfer from one person to another, from one generation to the next, from one moment into a system that doesn't stop. And once you take part in it, you don't just hold your own weight, you carry part of the system forward. That's when the pressure came. Not slowly this time, direct, clear, one final request. Not small, not simple, the kind of demand that forces a decision. Because this was the test, the real one. Not about favors, not about business, about alignment. Are you in or are you out? And in that moment, everything became simple. Not easy, but clear. Two roads,
One where he submits completely, stops questioning, moves fully with the system, and in return rises higher than ever, more access, more power, more control, but no freedom. And the other road, where he resists, refuses, steps away, and loses everything the system provided, opportunities, support, protection, status, everything. But keeps something the system cannot give, choice. And that's the real decision, not success or failure, control or freedom. And the truth is, both come with a cost. He stood there, feeling the weight of everything that brought him to this moment, every handshake, every favor, every decision. And for the first time, he understood something clearly. This choice would define him, not just what he gains, but who he becomes. And slowly he made it. Not loud, not dramatic, just final. Because real decisions don't need noise, they need certainty. And the moment he chose, the system responded, because it always does. If he stayed, he would rise, but never be free. If he left, he would fall, but belong to himself. And either way, the cost would be real, because freedom in Half-Way Tree is not given, it is paid for. And sometimes the price is everything. Time passed, and the streets kept moving, because they always do. New faces appeared, new hustlers watching, new hands being extended, new deals being made. And just like before, nobody announced it, nobody explained it, but it continued. Because the system doesn't stop, it evolves, it adapts, it transfers. And somewhere, under a flickering streetlight, another handshake happens. Quiet, simple, binding. And just like that, the cycle continues. And if you ever find yourself standing still long enough in Half-Way Tree, watching, listening, paying attention, you might realize something that changes how you see everything. Every opportunity, every connection, every success, every rise might not be what it looks like. Because in these streets, every handshake still matters. The only question is, when your moment comes, what will yours cost?
Some people think freedom is a door, but out here, freedom is a price. Thoughts start small, quiet voice. What if I really got a choice? What if I stop? What if I go? But deep inside, he already know. Money there, respect in place, but peace don't sit the same no more. Cause once you see what's underneath, you can't pretend like before. And every win start feel strange, cause every gain come with a chain. Freedom got a price, and it don't come cheap. You can walk away, but the cost run deep. Freedom got a price. You either lose or keep everything you built, or your soul to keep. He say no, just once, just slight. Didn't shout, didn't fight, just a pause, then decline. And that moment, cross a line. Next day, feel a little cold. Not empty, just controlled. People greet from further now. Less connection, less somehow. No loud war, no big scene, just the space in between. Freedom got a price, and you feel it slow, not by force. show. Freedom got a price, not by what they take, but by what stops coming when you break away. No boss, no throne, no single man control. It's a system, a network, a weight that carry its own. Try to trace it, find the head. Every path just branch instead. Different faces, same design. Different voices, same line. Everybody part of it. Even those who benefit, even those who give commands, still got weight in their own hands. Nobody free, fully free. He stepped forward, ask it plain. What is this I'm in? Man, just look, no surprise. Like he's seen it many times. It'll start with you, he say, and it'll end your way. And just like that, it click. This thing don't break, it transfers. Freedom got a price, and now we understand. It's not just what you lose, it's where you stand. Freedom got a price. It don't shout, it wait till the moment you must choose between control or fate. One last call, heavyweight, not small favor, not no mistake. This the line, this the test. Who you are gets revealed next. Two roads stand clear in sight. One bring power, one bring light. One say rise, take it all, but lose yourself behind the wall. One say fall, lose your name, lose the system, lose the game. But keep one thing, can't replace your own space. He choose not loud, not fast, just a decision meant to last. And in that moment truth was clear. Freedom don't live without fear, and freedom don't come without cost. Sometimes you gotta lose to not be lost. When your time comes, what will yours cost?